Hello all. So this is the second video of the series of deploying automation decision service project using CI/CD pipeline. In the first video, we discussed on how to configure an ADS project from Business Automation Studio. So this is our getting started project that we configured. In the second video, we are discussing on how to create a CI/CD pipeline for ADS. So a pipeline is basically a tool chain which automates some steps for deploying a software. Like there are three steps: build, test, and merge. So these are automated, and these help in deploying our products or our softwares. So here we are using OpenShift cluster to create our pipeline. So we need to firstly go to the operator and install an operator called Reddit OpenShift pipeline, which will contain our Tekton pipeline operator. So you have need to install that. After that, you need to create some task for your pipeline, because a pipeline is consist of some tasks. So we are for me, I will be creating three tasks, which is ADS git clone, deploy, and build task. So I have these resources saved in my GitHub repository. So I will be referring them from here only. Let's first see the git clone task. So this task will clone my repository into the pipeline workspace. Yeah, that's what it does. So we need to first of all declare some workspaces here, which is out for me. I'm using output and SSH directory. So output is the persistent volume claim where my repository will be cloned, and SSH directory is a secret which stores the SSH key for accessing my repository. So this will be used in order to perform this task. Then there are some parameters like GitHub URL, GitHub, the URL repository branch, and some other also. So you need to make sure that these are up to date and correct. Then there is a script too. Then this contains script also, which is to check out the directory and save it in my workspace. So that is the thing. The second task is to build the ADS project now. So this is done using an image which we will create, which I will show how I created that. Then we are running a script here also, which is in here we are going into our source directory, and then we are running just one command, that is maven clean install, which is to build the project. And here also I'm using two workspaces. Git source is the persistent volume claim where our project resides, and ADS config is a config map file which contains some variables like source directory path, the target directory path, and ADS URL path, so things like that. So for creating the image, it consists of three things: Docker file and two folders. These are the Maven plugin folders. So we are using here basic Maven image, and then we are transferring our folders plugins to the container, and then we are running some install commands to install them. So firstly, we are moving this M2 directory. So this M2 directory contains some common Maven plugins which are required to build the project. This folder is created automatically whenever we build a Maven project. So I had that in my local, so I'm just transferring that also so that the build process is fast. ADS Maven plugins contain some 8-9 plugins which are provided by our ADS instance. So you need to visit your ADS download page and then download these plugins and transfer them to your image. And then we are running just the install commands to run those ADS Maven plugins to install them. So that is the thing. Then the last task is to deploy the decision service. After the build task is done, it will give us a jar file, executable file, which we need to deploy to the ADS decision runtime so that it can be consumable. So here we are using one secret, ADS deploy secret, which contains manager credentials. This is required because we need to access some APIs, ADS decision service API, which can be accessed by manager only. So these manager credentials are present in one of the secret, which will be present in the namespace where your ADS product is deployed. So you can refer that. I have given the link in the description. You can refer that. After that, we are going inside our we are running a script. We are going inside our target directory where our jar file resides. Then we are giving a name for decision ID because that will be required in order to deploy our service. So we are renaming it because the decision ID should be unique and whenever the deploy task is done. So that's why we are doing it here only. We are attaching a timestamp so that it is unique and incremental every time. Then this is the URL. This is archive URL, and we need decision ID here and deployment space here, which is embedded in generally. And this ADS URL is saved in the config map file. That's why we are just referring it in our workspaces, the config file and the git source to access the target directory. And then we are just deploying our using our basic auth. We are just deploying our decision service file here. So after all these tasks are created, we need to create now a pipeline. So go to the pipeline, click on create pipeline, give it a name, maybe new ADS pipeline. Then we need to select the task for our pipeline. So in my case, it is git clone first task, second task will be build, and third task will be deploy. We need to add parameter. So we will be using one parameter only, which is git URL, and you need to give the SSH URL of your repository because we are using SSH key here. Now you need to provide workspaces. So for me it is SSH directory secret, git source persistent volume claim, and a config map file. Then you need to add some parameters here also. So double click on the task. It also needs URL. So instead of defining URL here, we will be just referring this parameter here. So as you can see, this is. Then we need to give workspaces. So for output it is git source, for SSH directory, basic auth we don't require here. Then build also git source is git source, ADS config is the ADS config. Then for deploy, git source, ADS config. You can see there is no error. You can click on create, and you can see your new ADS pipeline is created. It consists of 3 tasks and 3 workspaces. In the next video, we will see how to trigger the pipeline from the Git repository. So thanks for watching.